My name is Celeste, and I'm here to debate on why Catalonia has the right to independence on just purely a humane I guess level, with Spain broadcasting that they're a democratic and fair country. I think that Catalonia should at least have the right to a free and fair election, to decide if they want to be their own independent nation. Because of their shared history, they have their own language, they have their own distinct culture, and they have this long history with Spain, with the Spanish government suppressing their rights and their culture, their ways of life, basically for centuries now. Um, I'm gonna focus on the economic side of the debate, um, and why Spain is motivated. Honestly, in their history, yeah, because they've always been because now for centuries they've been one country, but also because Catalonia is a major economic driving force for Spain. For just as a quick background, Catalonia is located in northeastern Spain and currently houses a population of over 7.5 million people. The Catalonian people speak Catalan and share a culture distinct from Spain. It's one of the most wealthy regions in Spain and accounts for 20%, or more specifically 19.3% of Spain's total GDP. Its major industries are the chemicals, the chemical industry, the food and beverage, motor vehicles, pharma, energy, and the metal products industry. Um, and Catalonia has a long history of separatist movements already. The first major one was in 1640, but that was quelled by 1650. The next one, in the War of Spanish Succession, began in 1701. Catalonia once again sought independence in protest of the new dynasty, because they didn't agree with who was gonna rule Spain at that time, but they were shut down in 1714. For a while, the Catalan culture and language was forcibly suppressed until revival in 1876. In 1913, in 1876, their culture experience, more people were becoming I guess more nationalistic in it. They were seeking independence now in greater numbers. In 1913, Catalonia did establish some autonomy, but Miguel Primo de Rivera forcibly shut it down. He was really against anything that Catalonia was working towards for their own culture, their own language, and all that, because he believed that that Spain, which is already kind of made up of these cultures that share the area and they all share the government, but these regions are basically distinct as their own nations, and he didn't like that because Spain should be one country and you should be loyal to your country, not your culture. Um, and then under the dictatorship of Franco, this was further established. He was even more harsh. Their language, their culture, their traditions, it was all repressed. And then when he died of natural causes, and when he died of natural causes, in the year 1978, they were finally granted autonomy, again, and they were allowed more representation, basically, as their own, to make their own decisions. And in 2006, this was expanded upon. They even gained their own nation status, but they were stripped of it, and a lot of other provisions in 2010 by the Supreme Court. Catalonia has a long history of being repressed by the Spanish government. For they had those dictatorships, they had those years in which they became more independent and they wanted to seek their own independence, but the Spanish government would shut them down. As a result, another thing about that is for their language, even a lot of them choose to speak only Catalan because of the years that they weren't even allowed to speak it. Basically, since this argument focuses on the economic side, one of the major arguments is that Catalonia has brought to the table way more money that they sent to Spain than they received back from the Spanish government in investments and other things. So one of the main reasons Spain has over letting go of Catalonia is because honestly, just in Barcelona is a major economic factor in the decision. Barcelona is the second largest city in Spain, and in just tourism alone is estimated to bring in 22 million euros a day, just in the tourism industry. The tourist industry accounts for 12% of Catalonia's total GDP, and as a global city and popular tourist destination, Barcelona was ranked as the 17th most popular tourist destination in 2018 and the 8th most popular urban European city to visit. And also, Catalonia is the biggest economic region in Spain and brings around 20% of Spain's GDP. Once again, the impact of Barcelona cannot be ignored because Spain would be losing such a big asset if they were to grant Catalonia their autonomy. In 2019, actually, the city of Barcelona ranked internationally fifth in drawing in global investors, and in 2015, it accounted for 36% of Spain's global investors. And also, the Financial Times has listed it as the most attractive southern European region for foreign investment. So losing the Catalonia region would be a major hit to Spain's, like, all of Spain's industries and their economy. Also, like, just like, because this is kind of getting long, so mainly it's Spain can also not claim to be a successful democracy when they have suppressed the voting, like the free and fair elections that Catalonia wants to have. They have violently and forcefully shut down these elections, and there's even been the videos, like there was those major videos of like that day when over 800 people got I think arrested and then like beat up because they were going to vote. And if Spain truly did think, because Spain also claims that Catalonia is not the majority of Catalonians do not wish for independence, Spain would allow a free and fair election. Initially they did with an early referendum, but it wasn't really successful, and it wasn't really promoted as something that legitimate. So if Spain really wanted to have free and fair elections to show that like what they're claiming is that most of Catalonia wants to stay, they would promote the election so that Catalonians would actually come to the polls, because already in the last one, I think it was 2.2 million people came out, and that's 40% of Catalonia's voting population. So it's already a major percentage that came out to vote for independence. So Spain should at least let Catalonians come. But a major reason why Spain will not want to enforce something like this is because of the major economic loss they may suffer if Catalonia does decide to gain its independence.